So we're currently in a dengue outbreak. So because we're in a dengue outbreak, we're just trying to sensitize persons in terms of the do's and don'ts with dengue. So firstly, dengue is a viral illness that is caused by the dengue fever dengue virus, and it's transmitted primarily by the Aedes aegypti. So there are 4 strains of the dengue virus. Strain 1, 2, 3, 4. Please note the difference. You can only be infected by each strain only once, but the effects are increasingly deleterious. So the one from the first one, the effect from the first one may not be as strong as the second, effect from the second one. You get me right?
Yes.
Right, let me not confuse you.
And you see news big word a while ago in a deleterious. It just attacks
I'm sorry,
worse,
I'm sorry,
yeah?
I'm sorry.
It just gets worse.
Remember, my turn, Kendene, my turn. So, you can get dengue more than one time, or more than once, but you can only get one strain once. Am I right, nurse? Good. So if you had dengue before, if you get it this time around, the effects will be worse. So if you got strain 1, the next time you'll be getting strain 2. And if you get it again, it will be strain 3, or whichever. You get the point, right? Good. So dengue is endemic to Jamaica, which means that it is always here. Endemic means that it is always here. So at any given point in time, there is at least one person in Jamaica with dengue virus, right? What happens when it gets to the epidemic stage is when you have more cases over the threshold. So let's use simple numbers. If the endemic number is, say, 4, it becomes an epidemic when we get to, say, 10, right? So because we're trying to control the outbreak, here are a few points in terms of managing dengue. So we're just going to go to prevention. But wait, before we get to prevention, let's talk about a few signs and symptoms. So usually, there are, you can go ahead.
Alright, it's my turn now, so let me tag team I'm it. And so I'm going to tell us a little story. Alright? Apostle talk to her. She's laughing at me, sir. Good. I'm going to tell us a little story that I use with the kids. And so there was this little boy called Little Johnny. What's the boy's name? Little Johnny. And Little Johnny decided that, you know, a summertime and I'm going to go out and help Grandpa on the field. No, Little Johnny was out on the field, and guess what by Little Johnny? No, a mosquito. So the mosquito bite Little Johnny, and Little Johnny goes, and slap the mosquito, kill him dead. What I said though? Kill him dead. Good. And so after a little while, Little Johnny started feeling a way. Little Johnny don't feel right. Little Johnny have headache. Everybody hold your head and say headache. Headache. Little Johnny have running belly. Everybody hold their belly and say running belly. And Little Johnny have fever. When Little Johnny go to the doctor, guess what Little Johnny have? Dengue. What I said Little Johnny have? But what are some of the symptoms? Headache, running belly, and fever. And so the doctor said Little Johnny have dengue. But there are also some other things that come with it, like what Auntie Dawn said. They said she's principal, so she got to advanced levels, like joint pain, eye pain, muscle pain, rash. These are just some of the common ones that you might get if you get dengue. And so, as we go on, you will get to know what treatment the doctor recommended for Little Johnny to get him better and well. Praise God. Uncle Nicque, over to you.
Okay. I'm not as animated as this one, right? I'm going to try it under this. So there are 4 stages, right? So you have the eggs, the larvae, pupae, and adult. So at each stage, there are control measures that you can take. So persons always curse government, say, mosquito no, right? But the truth is, the onus is on us at the community level to prevent the mosquitoes. So remember the 4 eggs, the 4 stages: egg, larvae, pupae, adult. Right. So let's talk about control measures at each stage. So first one, cover your drums. So if you can get the original cover for the barrel, you know when Auntie Joy is saying barrel down and you use the same barrel for you catch water, use the original cover. If you don't have the original cover, you can get a mesh and put over it. If you collect rainwater, if you don't have a mesh, what you can use are old sheets, old curtains to cover the drums. That way the rainwater goes in and not the mosquitoes. You can also fill tires with sand and place holes in them, also with the cans. You throw out water that can be potential breeding sites, and you scrub the sides of containers at least once per week. So here's the thing with them, they're very smart. They know where to expect water. So if they know that they're going to expect water in a drum, they will lay their eggs at the side and wait for it to go up to catch the water. The eggs can last without water for up to 6 months. So that's why we tell persons, scrub the sides of your barrels at least once per week. And finally, which I said already, you screen rainwater catchment containers. So if you catch water in a tank, place the mesh at the top of the tank or the barrel in order to prevent the mosquitoes from going in. Alright, so we're going to talk about prevention at the larvae and pupae stage.
Alright, so the larvae, you ever looking at the drum and you see some little thing just wriggling down? Yeah, that is the larvae, the thing that wriggle down. I would ask it to stand, but I know some of the knees weak, bless the Lord, so I won't stretch them out like that. Joint pain. Alright, so at the larval stage, now you're going to, if you see the little wrigglers as we call them, then you would throw away the water with the larvae. Everybody following me? Yes. Good. But because we're in a water crisis, we do not want it to reach to this stage. So we're going to take the measures to prevent it at the egg stage. You know so? Yes. Good, because water is life and we can't dash for water right now. If it is that you don't want to throw away the water because we're in drought, then you are going to cover the water completely with cooking oil. Why is this effective? The oil prevents the wrigglers or the larvae from getting air, and so they eventually die. And then finally, we would come in as the public health inspectors or the larvicidal workers to administer larvicidal treatment. So that's the BTI, the Noctilol. These are some of the things that we use. However, if it is that you're going to give this water to any animals, you're going to use it to wash dishes, we do not recommend that we add these substances to it. And so the cooking oil will be the next best bet. Everybody following me? So how I said the larvae them go? Beautiful. Go ahead, sir.
What about using fish as a means of...
That's also definitely a means of controlling the larvae in the water. Yes, fish in the water and they'll eat the larvae.
Alright, finally, at the adult stage, fogging. Some persons don't like fogging, but the truth is, if we actually put in the measures at the larval stage and the egg stage, we will not need to fog that much. Right? If it is that you are affected by the fogging, what you can do is get a wet cloth and put it over your nose, which will lower the chances of inhaling the fog, if it is that you are affected by the fog. We also recommend using repellent that contains DEET, protective clothing, cover up, and if you have to cover up, don't wear dark colors because they like dark colors. So me in full black, they'll love to swarm around me. So wear light colors as best as possible. Screen the home, put meshes at the windows and the doors if possible, and avoid being out at dusk and dawn. They're day-biting mosquitoes, but they particularly prefer to bite in the mornings and in the evenings.
So Auntie Jody has a beautiful question, and I'm glad that she brought up this question. She's asking, what is the best thing to do while they're fogging? And so in Jamaica, a lot of us, we hear the fogman coming and then lock up all windows and doors. And them and the mosquito wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in the house safe. And then after the fogman, them gone, the mosquito say, hey, I kill you, I try to kill me, I'm going to kill you with bites. And so the best thing to do when the fogmen are going around, as he says, if the fog affects you, get a wet towel or cloth, cover your face and open the windows and doors. The reason, Auntie Valine, what are you doing? The reason why we say that you must open up is so that the fog can go and do what it needs to do to the mosquitoes, right? Yes. Run them out. So if you have any excess vegetation in the yard bushes, the mosquito them are going to find safety in the bush. So ensure that around you the vegetation is low at the bush, low the grass cut, and when the fogmen are going around, you open up the place so that the fog can come in, do its work, and then come out. Some persons say that they don't appreciate that, so if you're going to work, spray the place with vinegar and lock up the place so that by the time you come home, all of the chemicals will fall to the ground like nobody. But make sure you wipe off the counters before you're doing cooking. Everybody with me? Good. So don't wrap up, tied up, tangled up with the mosquito then when the fogman will go around. Alright? You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Samson? Okay, good. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, one final question. Is there any correlation between blood type and mosquitoes biting?
All right. What I will say is the mosquitoes are attracted to the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. I am at this time not aware of any. It may be out there, but I'm just not aware. But what I am aware of is that the fact that as we exhale carbon dioxide, they're attracted to that, and so they come towards us. There may be studies out there about who for blood type nicer, who have nice flavor blood, but at this time I'm not aware, so I'm going to do some reading on that so that next week when I come, I can tell you what I would have found. So I know type A blood have a nicer taste than type B for the mosquito. I'm not sure at this moment, but I will find out.
Just in terms of anecdotal information, right? What I've noticed, I'll be in a group of persons, same facility, and I'm the last one to get there. And I think I remember reading something that the blood type, they are attracted more to certain blood types. Yeah.
It's possible because in order to get one blood meal, they usually bite at least 5 persons. So I'm guessing after biting 5 persons, they will realize that, hey, a purpose is to Gertie's blood than anti-Marie. So Minister Rodney might not get, you know. So that's quite plausible. It's plausible. Alright. I think 2 more and we're done. We're done. Because you can take questions, not too much still, because church still at 1. Alright, so treatment, seek medical attention. But until you get medical attention, we don't recommend that you use blood thinners. So aspirin, anything like that, don't take those. Stick to paracetamol / Panadol. Because the dengue virus itself, it already reduces the response of your platelets, which means that you are more likely to bleed. Right? So whenever you suspect that you have dengue, stick to Panadol / paracetamol. Also drink a lot of water. So going out in the field, there are certain things that we've noticed. So we're just going to bust a few myths out there. So they say that mosquitoes usually die after 1 blood meal. Not true. They usually bite at least 5 persons to get 1 blood meal. 2, bleach as a control measure. Have you ever heard of persons throwing bleach in the drums to prevent mosquitoes? It may work for the first time, but it's not sustainable. Why? Because bleach, the compounded bleach, is very volatile in sunlight. But that's why we tell persons don't use bleach, because when you put the bleach in there, it may kill them once, but it breaks down the composition of the active agent in bleach, which makes it ineffective. So we don't use bleach as a control measure. And finally, zinc can't be used to cover your drums. because remember, it can go through. You don't want to do that. So sometimes I go to some homes and I say, you're not covering your drum. They suspect you may have the zinc over it. I say, no man, that can't work because they can go under. You need something that completely seals the containers. If you have any questions, we'll be willing to answer. Alright, so we're all bright and we know the right thing. So let's keep safe. Thank you very much.